Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at an escape room game called Dr. Esker's Notebook. Dr. Esker's Notebook is a game that as many people as you want can play. I don't know what the recommended number is. It says 1 to 6, but I don't see why you couldn't play with as many as you want. So what this game is it's an escape room game. You're going to have piles of cards, and you're going to use one pile of cards to find a solution in these numbers cards to lead you to another pile of cards. You're trying to work your way through all the cards so you can get all the solutions to figure out what Dr. Esker is trying to tell you. So that's enough of the preamble. Let's go down to the table and take a look at it without spoiling too much. All right, so we're going to take a foray into an escape room game. This is new territory for me, so let's see what we can do here. So this is Dr. Esker's Notebook box. And what this game is it's a puzzle solving escape room game where you're trying to look at pictures on these cards to reveal some numbers that are going to represent these cards. You're going to flip over those numbers and they're going to give you either a word or number set or something to represent which story you're moving on to next. So there's a setup card in this box. This is the only thing that you're going to have. You have this, and it's going to give you a little bit on the back. You can go to a website if you get stuck for some hints. So if you are having super duper trouble, go check that out. So I'm gonna do one puzzle. It's the very first one, and I'm not gonna spoil anything else. Well, you'll know which one's coming after this, but you won't know what happens. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the start cards and you're going to flip them over. So what we're looking at is this. We have a card that says "Sorry, May," and it has a hand pointing to 4, and there's a 3. We have a flying timepiece with a hourglass that says "Replays," and it has a 12. And we have this, it says Gias, and it says "Watch it, buddy. Don't get your spices mixed up. Are you missing one?" Alright, so interesting. So let's see what we got going. Let's see if we can put these circles together. Alright, so there's not enough of these cards to put the circle together. It does kind of look like a clock though. Let's lay it out like a clock. 3, 4, this is 6. And then 12 would be here. So there's a clock. Don't get your spices mixed up. I wonder if these are names of spices. Replays. Gias. Sage. This is sage. So maybe these words are the spices mixed up. So let's see that. So that's sage. Parlay. Prelay. Parsley. Ooh, sorry, May. Rosemary. So we have parsley, sage, and rosemary. And are you missing one? Looks like a clock. So time, is that the thing? So time is a spice. So that could be the one they're looking for. So time. Makes sense, it's a clock. Okay. So we have two hands. We have a small hand and a big hand, which kind of seems like it could represent hands on a clock, maybe. So let's flip over these cards and see if the time on the clock is the answer. So we have the small hand, which is usually the hour hand, so it's 7. Then we have the big hand, which is on the 4, which would be 20. So 7:20. So let's try that. So let's get rid of these. So we have 7, 2, and 0. All right. So now we're going to take a look at these cards, and we'll look and see if they say anything. So let me hold them up to the camera so you can see them a little better. I'll put them in order. Maybe you can see the code, if there is a code. So here are what we're looking at. So it says, take the letter cards, and it makes a picture of a letter. So in this case, we have solved this riddle. So basically, whenever there's a solution and there's either a phrase or some kind of number set that leads you to one of these other cards, then you know that you have solved this puzzle correctly. So this was the starting puzzle. It was a time, a clock. It gave us a time. We typed in the time, and then we got the next stack, which would be these bad boys. So it'd be these cards right here. So these would be the next cards that we would get diving into on the puzzles. And we can put these back because these may be used in another clue. I mean, they will be. There's only 10 numbers and there's 10 puzzles, 9 puzzles. So yeah, they'll definitely be used again. And that's how you're going to play Dr. Esker's. I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil anything. But like I said, I spoiled this one and I already played this, so I knew how to solve it. So I didn't want to, I was kind of faking it. It seemed pretty obvious, I'm sure. But so I wanted to make sure that you could see how it's played and what the game looks like. And the art is really interesting. Like, all the cards look so different. Like this one has stuff to just throw you off, like that globe statue. That means nothing. The flying hourglass thing, it means nothing. But it's there to make you maybe think that it means something, which is kind of interesting. So you're going to do this until you make it all the way through the puzzles. And then if you can solve all the puzzles, you're the winner. And then try to do it without taking a bunch of hints. I mean, we got stuck on some and we basically, the hints will solve the puzzle for you. So if you get super stuck, like, because this one has a pile of cards. Look at this. Whoops. This one has a pile of cards. So this is going to be a tricky one. So you may be using some hints on this one. So that's Dr. Esker's notebook. Let's go up to the top, see what they think about it. All right, so that was Dr. Esker's notebook. So I'm just going to jump in. It's nice to have an escape room game that's not Unlock or Exit or Escape the Room or Deckscape, you know, the ones that everybody knows of. This is an independent escape room game that's done pretty well. So let me tell you what I think about the game. So as this game progresses, I only showed you the starting 3 cards. As this game progresses, it gets more and more cards. And the puzzles get way more complicated. They get mathy, they get spatial, you're doing some calculations. It gets crazy. So there are some of these puzzles, I think maybe over half of them we use the hints on because I'm just bad at escape room games. No fault of the game, except for maybe it's too hard. But yeah, we used a lot of hints and we did solve all the puzzles, but we used a lot of hints. So keep that in mind. So what I like how these cards are really cryptic and they have really bizarre information that may be important, may not be important. I like the way the solution set is laid out. It's just numbers, and you're trying to find numbers in the puzzles that you're looking at to correspond to the solution to direct you to another puzzle. That's really clever and entertaining. I like that this is all based in individual piles of cards. So say I played one and I made it another one, I could just stop and I can take those cards out because I know I've already played those cards, and I can leave myself a note to remember where I am. It's not one of those games where, like an Unlock game, when you stop, it's really hard to figure out where you are, at least for me. So I like that. And I like that each of the backs are kind of similar. They all look like they're, you know, kind of from a notebook. So they just have cool little pictures or letters or places or statues. So it's very thematic. So that's kind of what I like about it. I can't give you a ton more. I can't tell you what puzzles I like and what I didn't because I don't want to spoil anything. So that is, I think I'm going to end it. Cons, I don't really have any other than maybe it might be a little too hard. And that's for me. Maybe I'm just a doofus. I don't know. But it was pretty hard. But if you like hard ones and you are a glutton for punishment, go check this out by all means. So that was Dr. Esker's notebook. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.